Joe's Big Helping of Pot Roast. So there it is, pot. Now, I doubt that refers to marijuana, but that's as close as we'll get in the Oklahoman. Although they'll start to cover it here and there because it's big business. In the meantime, since we didn't find any big articles in the Wall Street Journal, that would be the weekend edition. That's that Saturday right there, weekend edition of the Wall Street on marijuana. We'll go straight to Oil Patch Jazz. But first, a word from our sponsors here at the Gray Owl Coffee House in beautiful, booming downtown Norman, Oklahoma, where everything's crazy. And here at the Gray Owl, minds are on fire, and there's optimism and compassion. And believe it or not, the optimism comes from the crude oil, and the compassion comes from the cannabis. So let's jump right into a little Oil Patch Jazz, sort of a fun little segment we do here. We're only at 2 minutes past the hour, by the way, here at K-Rig. Oil Patch Jazz, as we just look through the completions in the oil logs of the Daily Oklahoman, and we just sort of scat about who's drilling in what county, and what depth they're going to, and what their production is, and then we sort of move on. And what we'll probably do is give you a nice shot of the owl as we do a little scatting on Oil Patch Jazz. And let's start. There's a nice linear shot here. All right, out of the gates, here we go. Completions, dated Oklahoma oil and gas drilling activity posted January 6th. And this is in the Daily Oklahoman. Completions, Alfalfa County kids, that is the Mississippi line, Mid-States Petroleum. They went down 11,000 feet, and they popped one at 167 barrels a day, plus 1.8 million cubic feet of gas per day. That's probably a pretty good well. Hell, I don't know. Grant County, Omimex, that's a good name. Omimex Petroleum. They went down 7,500 feet, and they got 145 barrels of oil per day, so that's probably pretty good. Noble County, good old Noble County. We got Territory Resources. Good old Territory Resources. They went down to 6,200 feet, and according to this, there's nothing to show for it. It doesn't say dry hole. It just doesn't give any production rates, so that may not be a good thing, but what the hell. Let's move on to Okmulgee County. It's a good one right there. And this is Robert Shanks, known as Bob. Robert Bob Shanks, he went down 1,000 feet, so that's not too deep. That probably cost him about $10. And he's pulling out 1.5 barrels a day of oil and 4,000 cubic feet of gas a day. Now, that's not really big, but he also didn't have to spend a whole lot of money to get there. And he's got a second well there in Okmulgee County. Once again, Robert Bobby Shank. This one's a dry hole. Oh, damn, Bob, you hit a dry hole there. But once again, he only went down 1,000 feet, so probably didn't cost a whole lot. Now, let's do the patented pivot spin. And let's check out a little downtown Norman, and we'll continue on to Payne County. Good old Payne County's got Red Fork Investments, which I believe is an Australian company. I bet it is because the well's called the Great White, number 114 well. You got to love that. Has to refer to a great white shark, which would make sense that Red Fork's from Australia. Anyway, Payne County. This is a pretty good little popper here. Ba-boom! They hit it at 362 barrels a day, which is pretty damn good production. They also got 500,000 cubic feet of gas per day, and they only went down about 8,500 feet to get it. So I bet that's a pretty good well. Now here's another one from Red Fork, also in Payne County. This one's 116 barrels a day, and they went down 9,000 feet. So you can see a little disparity there. Same county, same drilling company, which is Red Fork. One of the wells is 362. This next one I just read is 116. So there's some disparity there, but it's still making money for them, I bet. And then Red Fork, finally, this is the hat trick for Red Fork in Payne County today. The third well they drilled down to 9,400 feet, hit 275 barrels a day. Pretty good production there. You can do the math and figure out what they're getting. Anyway, that's a short list of activity for the day in the Oil Patch Jazz because the completions were really short. But we do have some intent to drill, meaning that they haven't drilled yet, they haven't completed it, but they're going to drill. In Beaver County, remember kids, that's the Panhandle, and that's either the Houghton or the Hugoton play. But we got Unit Petroleum. We love Unit Petroleum. They're out of Tulsa. They're small. They're vertically integrated. They're majority owned, I think, by George Kaiser, so we love them. And they're going to be drilling more in Beaver County. In Creek County, someone's going to be drilling up there named Les Gibson. It's not Les Paul, it's Les Gibson. And then in Garfield County, we've got Sandridge. They're going to be making a few wells there. Jackson County. You don't hear much about Jackson County, so we're going to try and follow this story, but that's Fulcrum exploration. It's only going to 3,000 feet, so it's going to be a shallow well. And then you move on to Kingfisher County. You got Blake Production. They're going to go down to 11,000. You got Chaparral Energy. That's a great Oklahoma oil company that I think is drilling the Dickens out of the old Burbank field, which is a beautiful old field up in north central Oklahoma. If you got time, kids, go up to see the Burbank field. It's crazy. Chaparral Energy is going to be drilling in Kingfisher County, as well as Hinkle Oil and Gas. They're drilling in Kingfisher County. And then finally, in Logan County, you're well aware of Logan County, just north of Oklahoma City. I think Guthrie's up there. Little Osage drills up in Logan County, and we love Osage. And this is telling us that Devon is going to be drilling in Logan County. They're drilling the Dickens out of Logan County. But that's pretty much it for Oil Patch Jazz today. We're at about 7 minutes into the hour here at K-Rig, live from Gray Owl. As the kids come and go, we'll spin back around and show you all these mines that are on fire here at the Gray Owl, just making it happen. And we'll also continue, since I've got you for another 9 minutes before you just completely bail out on me. We're going to go through just a quick little article here. Check this out. Wall Street Journal weekend. Delayed pipeline clears key hurdle. They're talking about the XL pipeline. Big pipeline coming down from Canada, bringing the Canadian sands oil down to refineries in the Gulf. It's really not a huge deal anymore because, let me show you why. Because if you move on to page 2, it says... oil has been flowing even without the key link. Yeah, what they're going to tell you there is that the oil companies really don't wait on anyone. If they find oil, they get it going. And these oil companies are moving all this oil from via trains and rail yard. So the Keystone XL pipeline, though still important and a big political consideration, really isn't as big of an economics consideration as it used to be. And that's an interesting little side bit. We couldn't find a whole lot we didn't find anything in the Saturday edition of the Wall Street Journal on marijuana, but the marijuana stocks, of course, the cannabis stocks. But one thing I want to point out is there's an interesting little section in the Wall Street Journal where they talk about the percentage gainers and the percentage losers, which is percentage-wise what stocks move the most that day. And if I can find an old Wall Street Journal here in front of me, and we'll get to one eventually as we continue to watch these mines on fire explode. I think we may have an example here. Let's see here. We're going to continue to skim through here. And no, not in this section, but I guarantee it's in the next one. And if it's not the next one, it'll be the one after that. We'll just keep going here till we find it. Oh, get ready, kids. I think it's coming. Oh, shit, here it comes. So here's a section you want to keep your eye on in the Wall Street Journal. And it's going to talk about, right here, it's going to talk about, look at this, percentage, where is that damn thing, percentage gainers. So each day at the end of trading, those companies that had the largest percentage gains are listed, as well as the percentage losers, which is pretty wicked, and the volume movers. And the percentage gainers have not been listing the enormous gains in the cannabis stocks because they're penny stocks. They're trading for 15 cents a share, and the Wall Street Journal probably doesn't like to report on things till they're up to $3 or $4 a share. By the way, some of these stocks will get there pretty quick. So we're going to have to report on the percentage gains or the percentage losses in these cannabis stocks, and that's our commitment to you, those 2 viewers that are actually watching this show. And while we have time before we hit 10 minutes past the hour here at the Gray Owl, I'll just let you know that once again, in this energy boom we're covering, it is the confluence of crude oil and cannabis, and it is also the confluence of optimism and compassion, and that is the 2 themes that we hope to advance relentlessly, by the way, here at the Energy Boom 101, which is the value of optimism and compassion. And of course, value, as we all know, is defined by, well, price is what you pay, value is what you get, whatever that means. I think Warren Buffett understood it. By the way, he bought into Burlington Northern Santa Fe long before anyone knew that they would be 100% occupied moving crude oil. God bless the man. God bless capitalism. God bless the United States. I think there was something else I was going to tell you. Other than we'll get back, I'll tell you what, the next episode we'll do, I think, will be the Boom and Bloom, and we'll walk down Main Street, Norman, and see if we can't let you know actual real-world, on-the-ground businesses emerging, whether they be based on crude oil or cannabis. Now, it may be tough to find businesses based on cannabis in Oklahoma, but I suspect we'll find them, and if not, we'll create them. There's plenty of businesses based on crude oil. But this is the confluence. It's happening right here, Norman, Oklahoma. The crazy kids that with their minds on fire at Boom U. I hope we're enjoying it. One last thing. Speaking of Boom U, if the Michael F. Price School is not, they should be watching this hyper-phase growth within the cannabis stocks. We only follow 3 here at the Transparent Barrel. We'll follow more, but Medi-Mary, which is medical marijuana, ticker symbol MJNA, has been on a tear. Cannabis Science, ticker symbol CBIS, has been on a tear. And then Grow Life, ticker symbol PHOT, has also been on a sort of a nice little mild tear since the year began. We think here at the Transparent Barrel that the hyperphase is occurring in the cannabis stocks, and we want to follow it. And we know that the growth has been going on in the oil stocks. That's been going on for the last 2 or 3 years. Just look at Continental and a few others. But that's it. We're getting close to 12 minutes, so I know you kids are getting tired. We'll come back at you later with another episode of Energy Boom 101. In the meantime, let's sign off right here from the Gray Owl, and 3, 2, 1, boom.